Vijay as a newcomer in the fray, somebody who a lot of us have grown up with. Yeah. Personally, people might not know him, but they have watched him on screen. They like him. They're charmed by him. So definitely, he is making a strong dent into ADMK and DMK's women vote, and no denying that.
Sangeeta Swarnalingam filing a divorce plea, for infidelity with an actress and all that. So you think that could have dented Vijay's image on the ground? You see that?
Vijay is a pan-Tamil Nadu face as a party and can be an option for anybody who is disgruntled in any system.
Hello and welcome. I am Vijay Srinivas. Election fever grips Tamil Nadu as political parties prepare to file for nominations ahead of deadline. But who has really got the edge this election season? Joining us to decode this, Psephologist Mr. Arun Krishnamurthy, who also runs this firm, Krish Info Media. Thank you very much for joining us on TheFederal, Arun.
Thank you.
This contest is quite exciting, right? Because of the entry of Tamil Nadu there. There are various interpretations of this battle as well. Some call it's a four-cornered fight, some call it a three-cornered fight, while others call it's just going to be a vanilla battle between the Dravidian majors, the AIADMK and the DMK. What is your assessment of this?
Honestly speaking, there is a four-cornered fight, because whether it's for victory is the next question, right? There is a fight by four prominent centers, no denying that. In that, two primary Dravidian parties, the DMK and the ADMK, of course, are at a better position in calling the shots because of the cadre strength, the tested vote bank that they have. Whether it's the TVK or the NTK, NTK has been in the fray for quite a bit now, and they have steadily shown an increase in their vote share. It's for the TVK's strength that we all are anticipating as to what would happen. It is, see, the contest doesn't mean that all four of them have a chance to win. That's not what anybody is saying. It's a four-corner fight, right? There is, somebody is going to walk away with 8%, somebody with 15%, somebody with 30%, somebody with 34%. Who gets what is the question, and in the order of DMK, ADMK, TVK, gaining more votes is what we are seeing.
If you look at the history, you see that elections in Tamil Nadu are largely personality driven. There is a certain amount of presidentialization of the state polls in Tamil Nadu. We have seen in the history, that's quite palpable when Jayalalitha was there and Karunanidhi was there. Now there was a vacuum in between. Now we see it between MK Stalin and Edappadi K. Palaniswamy. And you have also talked about this in your poll surveys, but that's really not the case, because there's a lot that happens beyond these personalities. Local strongmen are certainly important to create that momentum there. And for example, Eva Velu in Thiruvannamalai, or K. Nehru in Tiruchi and so on. But the Tamil Nadu Vettri Kalagam seems to have a different strategy here. They seem to be backing on one main man, which is actor Vijay. You think that kind of strategy actually is working on the ground?
So the party strength, when we spoke about AIADMK, DMK for that matter, as you pointed, Eva Velu in Thiruvannamalai, or their I. Periswamy in Attur. So in every district, they have a local strongman. This goes with the ADMK too. From SP Velumani to Thangamani to Anannilam Kamaraj to Vijay Bhaskars. So there are these strong men and women, of course, who add value to the party from the grassroots.
That's right.
And there is a central leadership which is with an approach which has a access to pan Tamil Nadu voter. So strong grassroots with a pan Tamil Nadu face is what these two parties enjoy as an advantage compared to Tamil Nadu Vettri Kalagam, which currently is banking on Vijay. But we have to give them the benefit of doubt. 2 years up and running. They will take their time to establish, get in more seasoned leaders into their fray, and their younger cadre would grow into established leaders, because that's how ADMK, DMK also came into existence, right? So given that they're only 2 years old, it is still, there's a lot more time for them to establish that, but they are up against titans like in ADMK and DMK when it comes to specific constituencies.
If you look at the manifestos, if you look at the political speeches, one factor which is sort of uniting all the political parties is to who the women voters. And women form about 51% of the electorate as far as Tamil Nadu is concerned. They are the majority there, and they're decisive voters in a way. So, and my question to you is, whom do you think the women voters are, going through?
The women vote, 1.2 million more women vote than men in Tamil Nadu, is interesting as a pollster for you to study, right? And the woman vote is issue based, is definitely focused on leadership, but they're also looking at a reliable leadership who has an emotional connect with them. This is what we've sensed. not every woman voter, but the large women vote actually tends to be emotionally connected. That is some reason why Tamil Nadu has had this individual centric decision making when it comes to elections. M. Karunanidhi to M. G. Ramachandran, M. Karunanidhi versus J. Jayalalitha, all this, and the women vote was favoring ADMK for the obvious reasons of they having Jayalalitha as the face, and her women centric approach built a strong base for the ADMK amongst the women voter. There was no denying it. Post her demise, there was a vacuum, right? And the women vote did feel orphaned. Then superstar Rajnikant's announcement comes in. This kind of excites the women voter, but that never saw the day of light. Immediately after that, if you see, they have this option of Kamal Hassan, Mr. Vijay Kant even earlier than that. So the women vote has always been drawn towards a leadership that they could attach themselves based on emotions. The DMK, for whichever narrative that was set against them, that they are more a male oriented party, they are a party that has more gundagiri and things like that, always saw the women slightly stay away from them. But that's where 2021 makes a difference. Lot of announcements which are clear, specific, focused on women, and the fact that somebody like J. Jayalalitha is not there, and the ADMK has lost its women vote which they didn't regain, the DMK made the strong inroads. 26 is going to be crucial to study, because has the DMK been able to hold on? Yes, point 1. Is the ADMK regaining and recovering? That's point 2. Point 3 simple being Vijay as a newcomer in the fray, somebody who a lot of us have grown up with. Personally, people might not know him, but they have watched him on screen, they like him, they're charmed by him. So definitely he is making a strong dent into ADMK and DMK's women vote, and no denying that. What the numbers stand at, we have to wait for it.
No, but this perception of TVK getting a lot of women support and all that, how true is that? I ask you this on the backdrop of Sangeeta Swarnalingam filing a divorce plea, for infidelity with an actress and all that. So you think that could have dented Vijay's image on the ground? You see that?
See, again, how much of personal life and issues related to personal conduct is being seriously considered by the voter is something I don't think it has dented his image to the extent. Of course, there will be certain segment of the women who will now have a second thought, no denying it, but it's not going to keep them away from moving towards, because Vijay and his party have triggered an excitement amidst the women voter, amidst the young voters, and they have set the ball rolling in motion when it comes to Tamil Nadu 2026. It was always a two-corner fight with third, fourth players in smaller degrees taking away votes. Today it's a proper four-corner fight. As I mentioned clearly, everybody is eyeing for a certain vote share, and Vijay is trying to dent, let's say, the so-called scheduled castes vote, the minority votes to a certain degree, yes, and then the women vote, the youth vote. So a concoction of different segments of votes is what Vijay is targeting and capable of receiving. Maybe urban versus rural divide also would play in Vijay's case. When you look at such an array, broad spectrum of voter, not everybody is going to be swayed by negative personal news.
Dr. Pranav Roy, one country's top psephologist, he argues in his book, The Verdict, that there is a pro-incumbency wave that's sweeping across India, and that's been the trend there. You see the same trend happening here in Tamil Nadu?
Whether it's a vote for PM Modi in the center, or in Assam as we were speaking, Kerala, or here in Tamil Nadu, now what's technically happening is, who will be able to give stability and continuity in governance is something which is definitely there in the voters' mindset. Unless and until there's not an issue that is irritating me, which is on my face that you have done this wrong and you have to be out, I don't mind continuing with a system and a setup, because it offers stability, is what we see across. And the fact that the opposition, wherever, whether it's at the central level or even in state level, the opposition and their draw of narrative against the incumbent government is not very strong and efficient. If I have to choose you over somebody else who's already in power, you have to excite me and you have to be a able alternative. When you're not that, why would I come to you? Yeah. So that's what is a pan-India move that we're seeing. Is Tamil Nadu going to be any different? maybe another 1 week to 10 days, we'll have to sit it out.
Okay.
If anybody is calling Tamil Nadu 2026 already in mid March or end March, it's still little early. It's little early.
Okay.
Yeah, because candidates are gonna matter big time this election. Party, symbol, there is no statewide move that's suggesting that okay, they're going to come to power or they're going to stay in power, or no, this new dispensation is going to claim power. No, Tamil Nadu still not gotten into that mode yet. I think come April first week onwards, we'll see the ball set in motion. Candidate matters.
Okay.
Big time candidate matters. Who is the candidate up against? And the alliance arithmetic and vote transfer between parties in a given alliance matter. The alliance partners of AIADMK, how efficiently they are adding votes to two leaves, and how reciprocative is the two-leaf vote when it comes to the other partners in NDA. That matters. Is the two leaves partner suddenly, is the two leaves voter suddenly thinking it's just the lotus, it's the cooker, it's the mango, let me go with Vijay. Because two leaves is not contesting in the seat, then it's game over in that particular seat. Is the Congress cadre efficiently, effectively going to work for the victory of the DMK? Is the DMK cadre going to work for the Congress's victory? All this is something which has to be watched.
So elections is also about battle of alliances. At least Tamil Nadu, that's been the case, right, in the history as well. So, how do you see that? Both the alliances right now seem formidable, but while there's some kind of bickering within the NDA there, in terms of seats and all that.
NDA is okay. The SPA is where the Congress and the DMK is friction. See, for the public, it doesn't matter that much, okay? You both were up in arms in early March, so I don't think you're a good alliance. No, people don't care. Cadre, it matters.
Okay.
See, in a particular seat where the Congress is going to contest part of the SPA, you called it the India Alliance, but it's the SPA here, it's not the India Alliance. That itself tells story, right?
Yeah, true.
They're not calling the India Alliance anymore. So when we look at a particular seat, let's say the Congress candidates put up, the DMK cadre at the panchayat level is going to think, another time you win this seat, you're going to come back and want to claim local body seats within this seat. So then my whole system is gone. And for the last 2 elections or 3 elections now, I have worked for your victory. Where is my future? I'm aging, I'm 50, 55.
That's right, yeah.
And what about my future under rising sun? See, this is what is now crucial with Vijay. Vijay is a pan Tamil Nadu face, has a party, and can be an option for anybody who's disgruntled in any system.
Okay.
So somebody who's not given a seat in AIADMK might threaten the leadership. I'm going to quit, I'm going to go join Vijay. We've already seen it happen also.
That's right, yeah.
Same goes with SPA. So you've not given us a seat, or silently, quietly. Modakkuruchi as an assembly constituency, in the last election, the BJP candidate wins, defeating a DMK stalwart. If you talk to insiders, they'll tell you how there was a under the carpet agreement. It's not a deal, an agreement where party cadre at the base decided no, we're going to side with somebody else this time, we don't want you to win. So this kind of infighting is very much possible. Cross voting, all that is where Vijay can gain from these established parties, but whether they're in a position to do that is a question to be seen.
You're talking about what Vijay could gain actually. So I want to ask you, there was lots of source-based stories going around on news media. It's about Vijay potentially joining the National Democratic Alliance. Talks in BJP was quite interested, is what the reports had suggested. So you think, but now I think it's confirmed because he's in the iftar meet. He said, look, I'm going to be solo. There's no such talks and all that. The BJP and the AIADMK too have confirmed this. You think that would have changed the narrative? You think that would have added some kind of momentum for the NDA there?
It would have given a huge boost to cadre of both sides, because at Vijay and TVK's side, there are strong, resourceful individuals, but they're only handful, right? Across 234 constituencies, every candidate and their resource ability, and how a central leadership, which is 2 years old in a political system, going to be able to handle 234 seats, distribute resources, efficient election management, campaign management, all this is a arduous task for them. For the AIADMK and the NDA, Vijay's addition would have brought in such star value and optimism for the cadre.
Yeah.
Because now they're still holding back with their field work, and they're still hesitant to a certain degree if they have a shot or not this time. They're not sure. They want to send the DMK packing, but they're not sure if they are there yet. They're very confident about their alliance because the parties have come together, yes, but they're still in doubt whether they're ready to take on a DMK, which is almost on its own despite having all the alliance partners, because the DMK is only shouldering the alliance responsibility.
That's right, yeah.
Whereas in the NDA, they're all running parallel in more ways than one. So, TVK and a Vijay in NDA would make a huge difference in this election, no denying this. Because one, it will give the cadre of the NDA. First of all, the perception is going to be set, right?
That's right.
That here is a formidable alliance against the incumbent. At that time, an anti-incumbency thought would also kick up. Even if it's not very strong currently, it could kick up. There are issue-based anti-incumbency, no denying it. Is there a pro-incumbency? Maybe not. But is there a thought that, okay, should there be a continuity? People are considering it maybe. We don't know. See, that's where we still have to wait at least a week or 10 days. April 5th, 6th, by the 10th of April, this state would give you clear indications as to where we are headed.
But but if you but Vijay must have felt, look, I've already called the Bharatiya Janata Party my ideological enemy, and going with the NDA might actually dent my party's own prospects in the state.
I'm not going to be commenting on that simply because my job is field research and more. I can't comment on what politicians, and I'm sure you and I both know the answer, what they would say if they go together. There are no permanent enemies, permanent friends. So all these standards would come up. See, with regards to TVK, what would happen is it would be a 2 days, 3 days of explanation that they'll have to give. But I think Vijay and his star value and his emotional connect to the voter can sway things.
Might be able to water down that.
The one narrative they can simply set is, look, if we have to send the DMK packing, we all have to come together. We don't have a choice. What Vijay and TVK do for a later day is for a later day to decide. Now let's all come together and let's.
Also, I wanted to ask you, since you spoke about alliances, Congress wanted to, at least in a majority within the Congress, wanted to have a tie-up with the TVK. Praveen Chakravarti was the man of the forefront driving this, whole idea. You think it's a missed opportunity for Congress?
Oh, that way, if you see, every dispensation, political dispensation, was considering one way or the other aligning with Vijay and TVK, right? Parties in the NDA who joined the NDA prior to joining the NDA did have rounds of discussion there. Parties that have broken into two segments, each segment was having a discussion with TVK. End of day, it's a game. In that game, you have a new star value candidate who's coming in, and people want to ride on that euphoria, and then they see a more opportunity, because election is about convincing the voter end of day, correct?
That's right.
But that's where maybe TVK has missed the opportunity in establishing an alliance with many interesting players that they could have aligned with from across the spectrum, I mean, right? So even in their Vikravandi meet, the thing was they set the cat amongst the pigeons, saying that, look, we'll give share in power, and that everybody thought at that time is going to shake the ground here in Tamil Nadu, and the TVK would be in a strong alliance. We don't know with whom, but with multiple parties again. But from both ends of the spectrum, there were parties in touch with TVK. If anybody who's missed a lot, I think it's TVK, not the other parties.
Okay, one last question there. What's the bottom line as far as election 2026 Tamil Nadu is concerned? Who has got the edge?
Honest answer should be, the primary Dravidian parties are going to hold on to their vote bank, and the DMK as an individual party may not lose as many votes. The AIADMK has a lot of catching up to do, right? With regards to alliance arithmetic, the NDA is slightly better off when it comes to numbers, because the DMK is the sole vote puller when it comes to the SPA, right? But Vijay and his ability to dent minority vote to a certain degree, but he is also taking away women votes, so which means both sides are getting eaten into, right? Not to confuse you, or its straightforward answer is another week. Candidates, which party is contesting which constituency, when we know that, we will know who has the edge in Tamil Nadu.
Thank you very much, Arun. Such a pleasure talking to you. Thank you.